Alright, there was a bit of lag there, but what's up, everybody? It's your boy Trash Mouse. We're doing spooky, scary stuff tonight. That's kind of weird seeing on my screen there. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic time. Sorry about not streaming the past couple days. Well, the one day, power was out, and then yesterday it was just kind of like, not a day for it. But now we just kind of chilling, we vibing. We're gonna be doing some spooky, scary stuff tonight. I don't have my roommate here, so I get to be scared all alone. Fantastic. So I'm gonna be potentially drawing anything that you guys want me to that you know has scared you in the past. And Aki, hello. Oh, he sees scary, he shows up. Thank you for breaking the dumpster 18 fucking months, bro. What the hell? And Ari, what's up, girl? What's up? Oh man. I'm debating like hopping up into my Discord server and like sitting in the streaming channel. I just want to see if anyone wants to join, but I don't know. So yeah, the last time that I streamed as well, we also did more spooky, scary stuff, and Aki was there because we went out after stream, and we went cryptid hunting, and it was kind of spooky. It was not not the best experience, but it was fun. It was a bit of bonding, you know. My roommate was like, "That's some scary shit. And you see this all the time." I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "No, thank you." So it's kind of a oh god kind of situation, but it exists. We're alive. We ain't dead. We were doing a lot of dumb shit, but you know, we Gucci. We're fine. I'm a little sad that he's not here right now because now I can't enjoy the whole spookiness with him, and we'll be like, ooh, go for spooky hours, bro. Ooh, red, you know. But oh well. How's your night going though, Ari? What you been up to? I haven't seen you in a little bit. Mind you, I haven't really seen anyone though, a little bit, because I've been gone. Where's Rumi? Don't know. I was playing some Halo with my buddy, and then I looked back, I'm like, did you want to join me on stream at home? Okay, so I just kind of chilled. But girlfriend, she's in bed right now, I believe, because her shoes are here, but, you know, all the other lights are off, so. Spooky scary, all by myself, so I was like, this is the perfect time, homie. Why not? But not me to be like that. Playing a lot of this one game called Conan Exiles. I've heard a lot of people playing that a few years, or was it a couple years ago? I think it was a couple years ago. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what type of genre of game it is or anything like that, but I'm glad that you're having fun doing something, you know. That's always good. Yeah, I don't know what kind of spooky, scary stuff I want to discuss. Like, I could talk about what happened. Moisture, man, you're making me literally walk and get away from my streamer. I'm gonna go grab me some water. Alright. Oh my goodness. I gotta roly-poly my way away. Headphones off. Alright, let's go grab that water. Yeah. Alright, now I'm back. Look at this man. Need to hydrate my brother? I mean, you're right. I don't think I've drank much water at all today, but still. Brother. It's time for your moisture. That's some good moisture right there. Oh yeah. It has a unicorn. It says, I fucking believe. Oh man. But nah, man, how's you today before being spooky? I had an okay day. I did some dishes, you know, you can kind of see it in the background, the dishes are up there. I went, bought some groceries, you know, I chilled, watched some spooky stuff on YouTube. I did some Halo achievement hunting, and went out for a coffee date with my girlfriend, you know, nice chill day. Gonna be going out tomorrow and hanging out with a friend of mine, so that's gonna be cool. But yeah, I haven't had a bad day at all. Pretty successful day so far, I think. Didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but I got shit done. That's all that really matters. Alright, so let's throw on spooky scary filter. Should we do this spooky scary? Or should we do this one? Does this one work for you? Should do like a voice modulation. I'll toss on my mask, let's do that. Oh man, I get to DM tomorrow. Nice, nice. Bro, I'm getting an ad for Skip the Dishes saying, get the alcohol you love delivered, and I'm like, bro, that's stupid. Don't deliver alcohol, but also please deliver me some alcohol. Tacos and beer, man, this guy's, he's playing to my heart. I'm not letting you, wait, why are you guys able to hear the music? I turned it so you guys couldn't, what the fuck? Alright, there we go. That was weird. Maybe I'm just dumb and unmuted it, just so you guys can hear it, but I don't know. Oh boy. So what kind of, Aki, should I tell them about our spooky, scary story? Or should I wait for more people to arrive before I get into that one? Because I want to know what you think about that, because that was a very interesting evening. So after that stream that night, because the stream ended at about 2:15, I think at about 2:30, my roommate and I left to go and pick up Aki. Wait for that one? Alright. Yeah, we went to go pick him up, and then we were out to like 4:30 in the morning. So, actually a little bit after that, I think. But we were out doing a lot of dumb shit. So, kind of wish we did more dumb shit, but kind of glad that we didn't. One of these days, we need to go on like a real freaking like cryptid hunt, dude. Like, we need to go out in like the woods or some shit with a bunch of people. This would be stupid as fuck. They're like, what's the things you're not supposed to do? Alright, let's go do that. I didn't go to sleep until like 8 AM. Oh, he was that spooked. I mean, in all fairness, it was a pretty interesting evening. So, and only slept 2 hours. Oh, my poor boy. I got home, I was a little bit like, and then I just kind of chilled, and I was like, I'm gonna just go crash. But I turned on the lava lamp, so there was light in my room. I was like, I ain't no bitch, but I'm kind of a bitch, you know. Oh well. But yeah, that was a very interesting evening. I know that there's other spooky stuff that people have wanted me to talk about before. And I don't know if I should like tell it all at once or not, because like they are kind of like the same continued story of that initial encounter. But just like years later and doing different things, and it's like, I don't know. So I'm sitting here trying to wonder if I want to throw on some like filters, like, cause this one kind of gets rid of all my lighting, but it's kind of neat looking. And this one messes with my lighting. That one just sucks. Alright, well, we're just gonna get rid of that one. This one just messes with my lighting even more. That don't look good with my current lighting. That looks weird. It's not a good one. What a nightmare. Some of these just are more for like a daylight kind of. Or we could be overly saturated. You guys want to be super overly saturated today? We could do that. We could be like super saturated boys. I look like a goddamn carrot. Like, goddamn. We'll just do black and white. We'll just do spooky. Actually, that would... Hold up. That one fixes my lighting issue I was having earlier. I mean, it makes things a little bit off, but it's not bad looking, I don't think. I don't know, what do you guys think? Is this one kind of like, or good, or like, what you think? The real test is, how does the red look? Orange. It always looks orange. Green looks pretty okay. That blue looks good. That blue, not so much. Purple looks fine. Yellow, it just looks like normal lighting. But that blue actually looks pretty good. Lit. I like my purple though. Eventually I gotta have like a proper setup, but it's so weird seeing my like the movement and everything is like so laggy, but I feel like the audio is out of sync, but maybe it's not. It's just weird seeing myself and then seeing it messed up but not messed up, I guess. Oh man. Yeah, I wonder what other spooky stuff I should talk about, because like I kind of want to draw stuff. I got my sketchbook in front of me, so in case we want to draw something, I can still show you guys stuff. But Aki, what type of scary stuff have you had, other than, you know, stupid shit that involves me? BRB, gonna heat up some food? All right, never mind. Ari, what kind of spooky shit you had? there's gotta be something interesting. Also, I realized because the other night I was gonna be, after like the stream and whatnot, I was like, yo, I should message my native buddy and see if he has any info or whatever on what I'm thinking about. Contribute when I return? Sounds good, sounds good. But I looked at my phone, I don't got his number anymore, and I was like, shit. Because I was going to message him the next day, but... So now I gotta be like, shit, do I got any other native friends? And I don't have many. So... But I will learn some of this shit from like my native friends, see if that helps at all. I don't have anything scary to say at the moment. No, nothing, no scary encounters with like ghosts or nothing. No, frightening shit that's happened that you just can't explain. No Bigfoot sightings. I drew on the same layer once. True horror. Alright, like... Look at this girl. My god. Oh wait, yeah I do? Oh man, now we get to have a horror story of that. Alright, well while you are writing that out, unless you want to do like spark noting that shit, I'm gonna tell like my childhood kind of thing of the haunted house I was in. Okay, and while you write that out, and then I'll start replying to your stuff as we go. I got a big fat chunky boy right here next to me too. Hello chunky boy. Big old chunky cat. So yeah, when I was like the house that I grew up in, like I was born and was raised in that house, and my parents only had to move about a year and a half, 2 years ago, when the old dude that owns it was starting to kind of, you know, croak, and his kids were like, oh, well, let's just sell off all of his properties. My parents had been renting that house for like 23, 24 years or some shit, and they decided to just kind of tell him on a Thursday, hey, your house is going up on the market on Monday. And they're like, what? It's like, yeah, you're gonna have to figure out a new place to live. And they're like, what the fuck, right? So that house they had my entire life, right? I moved out when I was 18, but they had that my entire life. I don't like this oversaturation. This is so weird to look at. I don't like, oh, that isn't the oversaturation. All right, there we go. This is like a little bit more, like I have like a daylight bulb directly in front of me. I feel like I should probably set it farther back, but I can't. So unless I want to set it off over there, which might be a better idea, honestly. So they had this house my entire life. So when I was like a little baby, there was nothing really all that wrong. Like obviously I'd cry like how babies do, but apparently I'd often try and get out of my crib, and like there was one time my parents caught me like kind of like half asleep trying to get out of the crib. I'm like, ah! And I'm just hanging out and whatever, hanging on with like my dear strength because I'm a dead baby. You know, I'm just like, I'm falling asleep, but I'm not gonna fall type thing. So I realized when I was little though, there was a little boy and a little girl that we used to play with, right? And my parents said they were just our imaginary friends. Not knowing that apparently the house was haunted, right? My grandmother ends up spending the night the one time because she lived in another city or something. I don't know, I was very, very young. And she was like, there's something in this house. And she's like very, like, not spiritual per se, but like, I'm not gonna say she's overly religious either. She was just like, there's something in this house, right? Like, I don't know what it is, but there's something in this house. And my parents like, okay, right? And then they realized that maybe these imaginary friends aren't imaginary, right? So my younger brother and I would play with this little boy. And there was this little girl that was there too, but she never, you know, really did anything. She just kind of chilled in the corner. Occasionally would play with us, but usually just sat in like the corner or on the bed or something. We're like, okay, whatever. So it turns out that the older we got, they didn't get any older. And like we would point that out to my parents, they didn't really care. They were like, okay, whatever. And then when I was a teenager, my parents pointed out, like, yeah, you used to hang out with like this little boy and this little girl, but like they weren't real. Like you and your brother played with them. And I looked at my brother and I was like, do you remember them? And he was like, he starts describing it, and I'm like, holy shit, right? Like we just started like describing the same thing to each other. Like with this, yeah, like this, yeah, yeah. And we're like, okay, so they were real, right? My mom's like, wait a minute, like you're both teenagers, you clearly are having an actual memory. And we're like, what the fuck's going on? So we didn't really think anything of it because I was like 15, 16 around that time. So when I'm 17, I was walking down, and we haven't seen them in years, right? When I'm 17, I'm walking down the stairs, right? And it's like, you know, stairs, and there's like a little platform where like the bathroom is and the bedroom, and then there's like this wall so you don't fall down the stairs. There's 2 other bedrooms up there, right? So I'm halfway down the stairs, and I hear a little girl giggle or say hello behind me, and I stop and I turn and I'm like, hi, right? And then I just hear a giggle, and then like little footsteps like run around the wall and towards the bedroom that used to be my room, or it was my room at the time, but as kids it was also our room. And I'm just like, well, that was interesting. And I walk down the stairs and I tell my mom about it, and she's like, okay, type thing. But she's like, did you say hello? Right? Because my mom has nothing against ghosts or anything, right? So she's just like, well, did you say hello? Or did you say hi back? I was like, yeah, of course, I'm not an asshole. Like, I'm an asshole, but I'm not an asshole. She's like, okay, well then, cool, right? I'm gonna read your story now. I don't remember much, but my mom told me when I was really young, like 3 years old, my room had something weird about it. Even her friend one night, when she had to sleep in my room, was like, there's something weird in that room. One night, she laid in bed with me, so I'd go to sleep, and that night I touched her and said, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were that boy." And she said, "What boy?" And I said, "The boy that stays with me." After that, she anointed my room, and I never saw that boy again. What does anointed mean? I don't know that word. Let's see. A-N-O-I-T-E-D. Anointed, past tense, anointed. Smear or rub with oil, typically as part of a religious ceremony. High priests were anointed. Oh, okay. So it's like smudging and shit. Okay, gotcha. It's a religious purification thing. Gotcha. That's pretty cool. That's. I mean, the poor boy. I mean, if he was just a little boy that just wanted to hang out and you just fucking kicked him out, I mean, that was his home too. But, but so the little boy that was in our house growing up, I never really saw him again. Like, I always had this vibe of like he was around type thing, but it was kind of strange because like he just disappeared. Now like I hear voices in my head. I'm kind of schizo type thing, right? But I've never really had an issue with identifying like, yeah, that's a hallucination, that's not type thing, right? So, and then she told me I wouldn't go in the hallway either because there was things in that I saw. Really? Okay. What kind of things was it? Now I'm really interested in this story. Holy shit. So like, I hadn't really thought about this like little boy or this little girl at all until I was like 17. I had that one encounter and I was like, what the fuck? So I talked to my little brother about it. And he was like, yeah, I remember them playing with them and everything. And, he explained the exact same thing that I just said. And we're like, okay, let's try and get to the bottom of this. Did anyone die in this house before we moved in? And it's like, no, don't think so. So I was like, well, shit. I guess it was a ghost or something. She didn't tell me much about it other than I was just terrified of going into the hallway. Oh, young brats. Thank you for following the trash. Appreciate the follow. We talk about spooky, scary stuff tonight. You got anything to add, homie? Angel, how's it going, bro? We talk about scary stuff. If you've got a story to tell, throw that up in chat. And obviously I'll narrate it because I read off my chat. But homie, like, we're talking about like scary stuff, ghost stories, cryptids, anything that's creepy kind of thing. So, nice studio setup. Honestly, I think it's kind of worse than it was. Like, it's, like, you can see my kitchen behind me. Like, these white panels that you see right here, I could pull them across. Actually, and back. Welcome back, Aki. I'm actually gonna see what happens when I pull this across. See what happens. Alright, so take off the headphones. I'm not gonna run over no cat or nothing. Boy, you best be eating your own food. Alright. Let's see if this wall falls down. Dead. Squeaky ass chair. Free ads on my screen? No, I get rid of that. I mean, it kind of works. I mean, in theory, that shouldn't fall down. In theory. So, it's like I just put it around me like that. It looks much smaller to you guys, but alright, now the music's back. Okay, I guess it was a ghost something she didn't tell me much about other than I was just terrified of going into the hallway. Okay, alright, okay. She did tell me that a very long time ago, where our house is where like Indians did some weird voodoo stuff and invited ghosts around. Believe it or not, most places where natives were, that kind of happened. But it's usually like a good thing, not a bad thing when they do it. So, oh, this is gonna be like a bit of backlighting too. That's kind of cool. It's because the light's hitting this, just gonna go around. Neat. So my brother's graduation, does that count? No, we're talking about like actual scary stuffs, man. And welcome back, Aki. I do appreciate you stopping on around. Okay. Yeah, so fuck, where was I? Oh, we were telling the story about the little boy and the little girl was in my house. So I don't know, because now they renovated that house and they're doing a bunch of stuff. I don't know if they're still gonna be there for someone else or not, because we haven't seen them in many, many years. But if like the little kids move in, maybe they just only come out for little kids or something like that. And occasionally they saw me as a grown-up, pretty much. Even though you're not grown up when you're 17. But like they saw me and they're like, oh, this guy, he's cool type thing. So, you know, you got nothing. No horror stories? Look at this man's boring as fuck. No scaries in his life. No scary? Lame. But yeah, so I've had like all sorts of like freaky encounters my entire life though. Like some of the strangest shit happened when I was like around, let's say like anywhere from like 10 years old until I was about 16 was like the major time when most shit was happening. The majority of around it when I was like, say like 14. It's probably like when, probably around 13 or 14. Because like I've told you guys a story before about like the scary, well now we think it's a goat man. I always thought it was a demon growing up, but like the thing that has that weird design on the side of it. Here, let me go back to the other page that has it. So, thing that has that design on the side of it. So, I don't like that my camera's autofocusing. It shouldn't be doing. You know what? I know why my lighting is off. I didn't fix the thingamajig. I didn't use G-Hub. Oh my god, I'm a failure. This should fix my lighting. There we go. I was wondering why it looks so freaking weird. Everything looks high def now. Holy shit. Actually, it looks like I'm almost running at like 24 FPS, but whatever. Maybe it's just a shitty at 30 FPS. Alright, now do these look better now? Hold up, let's see these other ones. Hold up. Nope. We can be black and white, and that's fine. That just loses all the lighting in my face. Oh shit, this could be kind of spooky. Now we're really freaking orange. Holy shit. Man, somebody's just killing my color. Well, now I am almost a shadow. Let's do the firefly one. Make me wet as fuck. Nah. Let's turn it off. Whatever. If I want to use a fancy one, I will. But yeah, there was a lot of really strange things that used to happen to me because like I was always super into like the supernatural type things and like native. Like I don't know a whole lot about native culture. I know a little bit, so like I've always had like this weird feeling because like, you know, being part native, but I don't know much about my culture, right? Because my great grandmother was the native side of my family, and then obviously it's just less and less every generation with more white people getting messed in. Though my dad, he'd be dark as fuck, so you'd be able to think, that guy's native right away because well, he's dark. I'm like hella white in comparison. So just because like my grandfather though got rid of his status back when he owned a business, back when he was alive, long before I was born, and I believe it was before my dad was born. So he got rid of his status. That way he would make more money in taxes, I guess, for his company and whatnot. So I know nothing about my fucking culture because, well, obviously not having much of a connection with it. And our tribe is apparently from way out west, so I'm like, one of these days I'll get my dad to find the paperwork and find out exactly everything that we are, and I'll be like, alright, cool, now I can look into that type shit. But I don't know. I've been looking into a lot of like native culture and shit lately though, just because I don't know, like this whole thing, if it is like a goat man or some shit, I'm like interested. Like I'm glad it's not like a flesh gate or something, but nah, it's it seems like a goat man or something like that, because definitely not a Wendigo, because then I'd be dead. right? And I don't think it's Skinwalker because, well, it's not on my skin. And I've never seen it transform into anything that didn't look animalistic, right? I've seen its normal shape that it is. I've seen some that are very similar in shape to it, but not quite, but close enough. And then I've seen ones, or I've seen it shaped like a dog, right? And I used to think it was like a hellhound or something like that chased me that one time. But I guess I should, for those that don't know, alright, the ones that aren't here all the time and have heard this story before, and the ones that are here, I'm sorry you're about to hear it again. I'm gonna tell a story about when I was 10 years old and I saw this thing up above my house, alright? And I think I still have the drawing of the house layout in this book from the last stream. So let's find that real quick. Yep, there we go. So. Oh god. Sure, that's almost good enough. So you see that one's my house. That circle is a tree. Hold on, I'm gonna just turn this a little bit farther away. Sure. And oh my god, this is so weird to do. So that house down there, alright, there's like a sidewalk. The road is in the middle, and whatever. So these houses, it's like, oh, I gotta use my other hand. Okay, this is so confusing because everything's mirrored. So this house, it's two different houses cut down the middle pretty much, alright? So if you go right there, that's two different driveways that are each wide enough to fit a car. And you can walk, there's like 3 or 4 feet on either side. Okay, so hold on, I wonder if I can pull this far enough back that you can still kind of see it. Oh god, this is so terrible. This is terrible. Like, it's not working at all the way I wanted it to. Alright, but pretty much, oh, that angle kind of works. Okay, so I was crossing the street. Alright, so I was going from way up at that corner down there, down to this house. And I was carrying my blanket, and I'm going, and I'm walking down. This would be so much easier if I was using, like, that camera over there, because I could just point at it, but whatever. So I'm going across the street, and I heard this sound that sounded almost like a scream, but also almost like a howl, and like it was like multi-layered. It was like fucking weird. All right, and I look up on top of the house, right, because that's where the sound was, because I was right at the oh god, can I just like not have this be shitty? Okay, so I was like right by this tree over here, all right, and it was up on top of the house. All right, now again, this center point over here, the driveway is wide enough to fit 2 cars comfortably and able to walk on either side of the vehicles and still have plenty of room. Alright, so I'm walking, and I'm right about here-ish, and then I hear this sound, and I look at it, and I was terrified, because it was like this weird, elongated kind of face that almost looked like a dog's. Alright, sort of like a dog and a horse kind of mixture. Yeah, like dog legs, I guess, like for like the hind legs with like the weird muscle, and then it goes backwards and then forward with a little pod thing. I'm not going to draw it again. Definitely not going to draw it again. Because if you want to see that, check the last VOD or check the YouTube channel and check it there. I don't fucking know. And it had that other design that I showed already. This design, it had that on either side of it, mirrored. And its skin was almost like elephant looking, like grayish. And its eyes were like this glowing red, and the design on the side of it was glowing red. And I was like, fuck that shit, right? And I'm 10 years old, and I was whistling because I learned how to, instead of whistle like, you know, I learned how to type whistle, right? I'm not sure if that got picked up. It should have been like that type thing, right? I learned how to pretty much do like the whistle where you're like, but without using your hand. And being a 10-year-old, I'm like, I'm the cool kid on the block. So I'm whistling, right? And I only just remembered that I was whistling like a few days ago, right? Because I was like, holy shit, I was whistling like a whole bunch because I learned how to whistle a bunch of different ways when I was younger, right? And so I'm going, I bolted across the street when it kind of made that scream. Like I looked up and I was like, oh shit, stared at it for a moment. And then as it was like kind of like, it cocked its head at me, I was like, fuck this shit. And I ran across the street without even looking. And I always look both ways because I was one of those kids. All right. And I'm going to turn this back so it's facing me. All right. So I run across the street to my buddy's place. And it's like across the street and like 3 houses over. 3 or 4. And as I'm hauling ass, I'm looking over my shoulder and like this thing jumped the gap between the houses. Or at least it was on the other house. I don't think I actually saw it jump. Maybe my brain's implanting the memory of seeing it, right? But I was like, damn, dude, this thing, 2 vehicles full-size vehicles can sit comfortably next to each other with a gap on either side and in the middle, right? In the middle, it's like twice the size of either side. So you can have like 3 feet on either side and like 6 feet in the middle almost, right? Probably about 5 feet, but whatever. And this thing got across that gap like it was nothing. So I ran across the street and I started banging on the door, right? And my buddy's parents pulled me inside because they saw the thing, right? And at the exact same time, he came running down the stairs screaming and crying, saying something just peered over the roof and looked in his window. Sorry, my cats are just doing something stupid on the other side of this wall. So, because the way the roofs work is like the house is a square, all right? Like here's the front, here's the back, and the roof was like this. So on the back, where his room was, you could look over. If you were on the roof and you were to hold on, you can look over top and then you can see into his window. And he said something with like a long face and yellow eyes looked in his, like, just stared at him, right? And that's why he came running down the stairs screaming. And his parents, both being, you know, druggies, look at us and go, basement now. We're never allowed in the basement because that's where all the drugs are, right? So we go down to the basement. They close both doors on the way down because there's one at the top of the stairs, one at the bottom of the stairs. And we're just huddled down there. We're all just fucking terrified. Next day, you know, we're like, all right, I'm going home type thing, right? Luckily, I pulled my blanket with me because it was my favorite blanket, my Winnie the Pooh blanket. So we had a blanket at least for him and I to just kind of like fall asleep on because, you know, 10-year-old's terrified. And ever since then, I've been seeing this thing my entire freaking life, right? And I remember when I was in 5th grade, which means that you're 11 years old. I've seen it literally my entire life. Like I'll always see it off in the distance somewhere, like at nighttime, right? During the day, I don't normally see it unless I'm in the woods. So I'm at my buddy's place, and he was in this small town called Mount Bridges, right? So I'm visiting him, 5th grade, 11 years old, and his older sister and I, we were pretty close, like we were just friends, right? And we'd go out for walks at night because, well, there's nothing to do in Mount Bridges. Like, Mount Bridges is, like, if you didn't know to look left when you're on that highway, you didn't know that you passed, like, a town, all right? That's how small that place is, right? If you go in a little bit, like, it's a little bit bigger, but it's really it's a pretty small place. So as her and I are walking down the one set of train tracks that's there, because stupid kids, you shouldn't walk down the train tracks, but we're 11 and 13, so we're dumb. And as we're walking, off in the distance, we saw these 2 red eyes just kind of appear. And then, because it was like completely in shadow, because obviously there's no more lights because we're starting to walk out of town, stupidly. And then we saw those eyes kind of focus on us, and then like it started coming closer, and like a body shape started going sideways slightly, and it was like this big fucking dog, but it had that same design on the side of it. And then it did that same terrifying scream howl thing, and we're both kind of frozen, and I just kind of grab her, I'm like, we gotta go, right, type thing. And we start running like hell, right? And we could hear it running after us on all fours, right? Because it was like a fucking dog. And we're like, that's why I thought it was a hellhound. But it never caught up to us, which it should have been able to. We tried rationalizing it at first because like there was wild dogs in the area. What is this? Get out of here with your ad. We knew that there was like wild dogs in the area because, you know, just we know, right? Like she was told, so we were informed, hey, don't go out too late or too far at night. So we're like, it's just a dog. It was just one of those scary dogs. But then we're thinking, like, if it was a dog and there's wild dogs that are around, it would have caught us, right? We're 2 kids. There's no way we can outrun a fucking dog, right? So I feel like it's the same thing because, well, have that design, have the glowing eyes, right? And dogs' eyes do not glow red unless they're like albino, right? But it wouldn't have been albino if it was completely black in the shadow and everything, right? And then we only saw it when it got closer under like the one light that was coming off. So we're like, oh hell no, right? I don't want to fuck with this. That's terrifying shit. So after that, we would see like the original figure that I've seen, which is that weird long-faced skinny thing with like the arms a little bit too long, you know, elephant skin looking fucker with the designs on the sides around. So we're like, okay, and she started seeing it. So we're like, oh god, like what the fuck? And I'm sitting here like, well, he's never hurt me, right? So I haven't really been afraid of it. I just kind of would always see it on the rooftops across the street from me when I was a kid. Scary, but you eventually just get used to something when it's there long enough, right? It's never harmed me. It's gotten close and then I get like all, ooh, shit. Right, like even talk about it right now, I'm starting to get kind of a little bit jittery because I'm like, this thing, the more you talk about them, or at least it, the closer I feel like it gets to me, right? it's almost like I catch its attention or something like that. Like it's always watching, but it's like, oh, we're talking about me today, and it gets really close, which is kind of freaking me out now that I have this wall around me, and I can see the fucking cat. The cat just ran across my leg. I can see that my balcony door is like open. Like the screen is locked, but the balcony door is open. And I can see it because there's a bit of a gap here, and I'm like, ooh. A little bit freaky, man. What are you doing here, boy? Mars bar, what you doing? Little butthead. See you later. Fucking butthead. Yeah, so like that's another encounter with the thing that I had. And as I started getting older, I'd see it more and more, and I used to hang out in the woods a lot. Spooky stories are best. I know, right? Pretty dope. I just like, I don't know what it is. Lately, I've been really getting into like being like scared of something, right? And like thinking about stuff a little bit too much and learning about like urban legends and whatnot. So the other day, I was sitting there and I was thinking, I was like, well, if it was like a goat man or something, right? There's no forests nearby that were close enough for it to be on my roof. And then I looked into it because I'd completely forgotten there was like this swamp, bog, forested area right by my house, but it got paved over, and or obviously got drained and like paved over and everything, and there was a bunch of houses there, right? Like a higher fucking living area, you know, like high class bullshit, right? It's really like medium high, but whatever. And so I didn't think about it because I was never allowed to go there, right? Because my dad, you know, always said, oh, it's just not safe, or there's nothing really to do there. The water's too thick, I think is what he used to say, because it's like swamp water or something. So if you try and swim in it, you'll sink, right? And then I think one time he was like, oh, like the bugs there are too big, or like, because there was a bunch of, it was known for having turtles, right? And my dad just never let me go, so I'd never really remembered it, right? Because I completely forgot it existed until like recently, when I think Aki mentioned it, or something sparked the memory. And I was like, what the fuck? That was literally around the corner from my house. So if that thing came out of the woods and was on my roof, that kind of lines up with the goat man thing. And my roommate and I, the other night, after my last stream when we were talking about this, we went out, we got Aki, you know, that Ox kid who's in chat. We grabbed some McDonald's, we chilled for a little bit, started having the weird feeling about everything, started going around, showing my old room, or my roommate, about like our old area that we used to live in, of all like the different spots. And then we were like, go up this road here, and you can see distinctly where the houses change from like what they used to be, like the old ones, to the really like newer houses. And you can see that all these houses are like identical to each other, right? Some of them are different colors, but the same fucking house, right? Over and over and over. And we're like, yeah, all of this used to be like swamp and bog. Because I remember having to go up the one road super far and you could still see trees on your side, right? Now that we were just this huge area of trees, and he was like, holy shit. So it was clearly big enough for these things to, if it was a supernatural thing, it had enough room to hide, you know? So I was like, oh god, like that's some spooky shit, you know? Like damn, like it's only occurring that could have been what it was. I was whistling at nighttime near the forest, and that's probably what caught its attention, and it's been here ever since. But I don't know why it would be following me, because that doesn't line up with what they do at all. But I need answers. What is the point of life? You are born to live and you live to die. Enjoy it while you can. That's pretty much all the point of life is. It is completely okay to want to strive and make a mark, and it's completely okay to just kind of exist and enjoy the moment, you know? Like, you don't need to do super fancy stuff. You don't need to do a bunch of things with your life. You can live your life the way you want. Alright, that is the point of life. Enjoying it. So, as long as you aren't harming others for your enjoyment, that's all life be. Powerful words. Yeah, homie. Now let me get back to talk about my spooky thing that makes me feel like I'm gonna poop myself every time I think about it. Arctic, my boy. We talk about scary stuff, bro. I am proud of you. Aw, thanks, you crazy. I appreciate it. Arctic, how you been, buddy? I'm glad you finally have internet again. Your computer still catching fire?
Hello!
Oh, thanks for the follow, homie. I mean, that means a lot. Thank you. We talk about like all types of scary stuff. Right now we're talking about apparently it might be a goat man that's been following me for my entire life, which makes no sense because they don't normally take an interest to that degree. But like they're known for being benign, right? Like not evil by any means. But like some are aggressive. But you know what? I should probably get back into it. What I was talking about with Aki and my roommate. So after we picked up Aki and we grabbed our McDonald's, we went over to that old area, as I said. But before we went exploring and showing everything, because us being dumbasses, we're just like, let's sit under this one street lamp that was in the one parking lot that was kind of centralized and everything. And Aki and I, growing up, we knew that there was 4 different things in the area, right? There was the one that's been following me my entire life, so we don't really consider it in the area, but I lived there, right? For like the first 18 years of my life, and from 10 till 18, you know, it was there. Doing good. Yes, my laptop's still trying to catch fire. Of course it is. So we're chilling, and I was like, do you guys hear any bugs? And they just stopped for a moment. I was like, do you hear any nature? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, but not over there, there, or there, right? And they just kind of stopped for a moment. They're like, no. And I was like, yeah, you can hear it over there kind of faintly, and over there kind of faintly, and over there kind of faintly, but you can't hear it in any of those 3 different directions. And then I noticed something out of the corner of my eye, up on top of the one mall that was there that we were near, in the parking lot, because it's like a nice little small town mall, right? And I was like, my buddy's kind of getting, like, my roommate's getting a little bit like, oh, like, what the fuck kind of thing, right? And I was like, yeah, don't look to your left too much. And he was like, why? I'm like, just up on top of the roof. He's like, what? And he looks over, and it just deked around the corner. And the longer that we were sitting there, the more started showing up. Because there was 2 up on the roof. There was 1 off to the one side, and 1 pretty much directly behind me. So we know there was 4. And then there was, like, so many. Like, there was, like, at one point, like, 6 up on the roof, 5 or 6 up on the roof, 5 or 6 behind me, and, like, 2 or 3 off to the side over there. We're like, what the fuck is happening, right? Because we were sitting there, and, you know, Aki and I are chilling, both having, like, a smoke. And we just started getting, it was fucking freaky, man. Like, if we weren't under that street light, holy fuck. So him and I are chilling, or my roommate is sitting on his car hood, right, or against it. Aki was off to my left, and I'm sitting here, so I can actually draw exactly what we were doing. All right, so let's do, I'll turn it this way. So it's the apartment building, or the mall, the sidewalk, and then there's the road, and then houses are back over this way, other road, and then over there that direction. So we're sitting about, I'd say, like here-ish. So that's the right. Sorry, just let me doodle this out real quick. That's close enough to scale, I guess. So this is, hopefully my lighting doesn't destroy it all. It was not a fun time, no. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this at a weird angle, okay? So, that right there is the light that we were under. There's the car. There's the 3 of us, alright? I was this one right here. The one that's like farthest in this direction, okay, at the bottom. And then over here, this is so weird to do in reverse, oh my god. Over this right here is the mall. This right here, there's a garbage can thing. It's like a garbage can recycling everything. All right, and then over here is a road. And then on the other side of this road, past this line, is like housing. And then same thing over here, road, and then down here is housing. There's like a sidewalk here, but I don't know why I doodled that in. So we're chilling, and there was like 5 or 6 up on this, and this actually just like continues like way up there. Right, it's like a long mall. It's an outdoor mall kind of thing. So up literally in this corner, there's like a sign that blocks off this corner of the building up at the top. And so we had like our McDonald's and we went to go throw out the garbage. And my roommate, who was the one that was closest to the car, I'm sorry, this is really hard for me to do with my hand. So he takes the garbage and he starts walking towards this garbage thing, right? So I walk with him because I know Aki will be fine by himself under the light, but the light kind of goes a little dull over here, and then it's just the light from the building, right? So we're trying to throw it out in this thing, and as I'm getting closer, all of them start like looking at us as we're getting closer. And he was like, right about here, he was like, oh, my knees started to buckle a little bit, like when we were walking back. But he was like, as I got closer, I felt so fucking scared. And so I walk with him up to the garbage can. He throws out the stuff, and I walk backwards looking at it. And I took a quick glance over my shoulder and saw Aki was looking at us. So I turned around and I'm like, I'm not going to get hurt by nothing. I'm going towards the light. So we go back over here, pretty much in the exact same spots that we were. And then they were all just like staring at us from up over here. There was some down here, and there's one down here that you could feel like a malicious intent from one of them, right? And my roommate, who was kind of scared at first and now he's just kind of chill about it, he's just like, well, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die type thing, right? So he's staring down the one that's the only one that has a malicious intent, and we're like, all right, if I'm the one that was closest, right? I was like, I'm gonna die, all right, like type thing, but whatever, because I could feel its eyes on me. And like these ones over here are far enough back because like there's street lights and stuff, so I don't think they were gonna get past this road. But we started getting kind of creeped out. So this road right here continues onwards, and pretty much like down here where the map would be, there's like this big fucking forest that a few years back, I think it was about 2.5 years ago, there was a bunch of young teenage girls that ended up getting raped and murdered in there, and that's apparently been going on since 2008-ish, right? So kind of fucking scary. That's how big those woods are. Like you could still probably find a body in there, all right? And so like it's a big forested area over there, which is for reference why we know that there's some in the area, because there's definitely one in that. And the forest areas started getting cut down over the years because, well, industrialization, you know, residential areas need to be made because more people in the area, because our small town is expanding. And it was just, but I look at Aki and like, because at first I was like, there's more than 3. And he was like, well, we knew there was 4 in the area. I was like, there's more than 4. And he was like, what? And then he starts looking around like, what the fuck? And then he starts noticing all of them. We're like, what the fuck? And then we walked up, took out the garbage type thing. And we're like, oh man. When you say you have a bad vibe in the middle of the night, no, homie, like, you should have been here for the full story. It was a bad intention from that one, right? And, you know, if they are all goatmen, right? Which is weird because they're normally by themselves, right? The fact that there was 4 different ones, it was like, well, there's 4 different forests in the area, so maybe that's why. But it was just like, there was too many, so we're like, these definitely aren't just goatmen. Like, there has to be something else here or something. Or something weird is going on. So we didn't really know what was happening, so we're chilling for a little while, and we're like, well, let's die, you know? So we get up into the car, and we drive towards that big forest, because there's a road that goes that way, but then it curves, right? But the entrance to the forest is down that road, right? So my roommate's kind of sketched out a little bit. Aki is sketched out a little bit. And I was like, just turn off the music, crack the windows slightly so we can hear outside, right? And as we're getting up towards the forest, I was like, just stop here and you can see down the path before you're able to go in, right? And I've been in that forest that night. A friend of mine and I were chased in that forest that night by the one that has been following me my entire life, right? And it was sketchy as fuck because the sun was up when we were when we were in there, and then we started talking about the thing, and then she was like, what? And then I was like, well, it never gets closer than like 20 feet, don't worry. And then you hear a snap at like 15 feet away, and we're like, okay. I was like, well, it doesn't get closer than that. And about 5 feet away, we could hear it. We're like, fuck that. It's on the other side of the bush, and she just hauls ass, I haul ass, we could hear it behind us the whole fucking time. Made that fucking scream thing. We're like, oh, not a fan, right? So these woods, no go. These are the same woods that we were chased by this thing, and there's been several rapes and murders in there, all right? Not a good thought to be stuck in at night. And of course the sun starts going down way too quick that night, right? Like, it was summer, yeah, and it was like 8 o'clock-ish, but it went down too quick, right? It was just pitch black. So we pull out our phones and we're trying to use our phone's lights, but then both of our phones like died. We're like, what the fuck? Okay. There's no way our phones are dead because we charge our phones while we're at school and whatnot, right? Because, you know, we're delinquents, little shits. We're like, there's no way my phone would be dead. And there's no way both of our phones would be dead. So we've run out of light and we're just hauling ass through this forest that literally has cliffs in it, right? Like, there's cliff-sized drops to like a river. And we're like, holy shit, like, we could die from not this thing. And terrified. We end up running through the bush because we end up losing the trail, and eventually made it out by the entrance. Thank God. Like, we just kind of had the right sense of direction. We didn't turn or nothing. We're just like, yeah, we know there's the river on this side. If we keep going this way, we will eventually hit it because the river eventually turns. And that thing never caught us, right? But again, I feel like it always just wants to test me. It never gets close enough to actually hurt me. And the way that I view it is, if it can touch me, I can hurt it. All right, like, it's not ethereal. If it is ethereal, it can't hurt me. And if it can touch me or hurt me, that means I can touch and hurt it, right? At least that's how I rationalize it in my mind. So we end up getting out of the woods and whatever. So my roommate Aki and I are sitting there just before this path in the car, right? Windows are slightly cracked, no noise on, and I was like, turn off your lights. And he turns off his lights, and you can see it's just pitch black, and you can barely see something off in the distance a little bit. I'm like, okay. I'm like, how long is it gonna come out? But it literally waited not even like 5 seconds before it started stepping out. And all the other ones we were well past, right? I don't know how fast they can run, right? But because they didn't just appear normally, right? Like, they show up, right? Like, sometimes they just appear, but it was very rare. So my roommate, he sat there and then he waited for it to get like just before it was like mid-trail, and then flicked on his high beams, right? And we just saw this thing dive off into the woods, and it was like this kind of like shadowy, it almost looked like it had fur kind of thing. And he was like, nope, turn, fucking drove away. And then we went through like that area that used to be all swamp, and we were showing him the area. And he was like, holy fuck. And then we're driving around, and we're like, so as our nerves are starting to calm down the farther away we're getting from the area. And he was like, man, that was fucked. Like, oh god. And my roommate was raised Christian, right? Like, very religious and all that. Only in, you know, since like his mid to late teens, I believe, he stopped being into religion type thing and started thinking more for himself. No offense to anyone who's religious, but like, he wasn't using his parents' beliefs. He started making his own, right? And he started understanding things his way, of which, you know, I can understand, respect. So he was like, yeah, no, that was kind of messed. Like, oh no, right? But he's all cool now. We got all chill. We got home. Nothing really bothering us, right? Still kind of on edge, but whatever. The drawing that we made on stream, I ended up putting that little rune on it. You guys saw it on stream. We actually took it, and I had it like folded and everything. We brought it to the McDonald's and threw it in the McDonald's garbage, just so it was as far away from my house as possible. So it was funny as fuck for that part. But it was a really fucking spooky night, dude. Like, that was... I never felt that many like things around us, right? Like, I've felt like, oh, there's an entity this way, or there's like some type of spirit feeling this way, but it was like, fuck, dude, like, hell no. Like, I was so uncomfortable, and like, I don't normally get uncomfortable from this type of thing. I'm like, yeah, like, I'm spiritual. I believe in like some Wiccan magic. I believe in like native stuff. I have like a very mixed belief on shit, and I've always felt like there's like a barrier around me type thing, that things can't get that close. But maybe I'm just wrong, and things can get through it if I'm not in the right mental state. And I've had a pretty fucked up brain for the past little while, so I don't know. Kind of spooky. I wasn't not too down for that kind of thing. All right, like, yeah. So that's the story of the other night, and I think that's probably why I didn't stream yesterday, because my brain's still a little bit of a mess. But that first night, it was like just the power of the... No, the first night I think I was messed, and then last night it was the power or some shit, because super bad storm. My concept of time is really fucked up, especially with this whole COVID thing going on. But yeah, Aki can literally like vouch for everything I've said tonight, though. Like, it was fucking whack, dude. Like, not fun at all. Behind you. Dunkers, my boy, why you gotta be like this? Holy shit, you see that up there in the shadow? Ah! Yeah, but like, I don't... Dunk, do you have yeah, COVID sucks. Hell yeah, it does, dude. Dunk, do you have any supernatural stories, man? Also, welcome to the stream, bro. How you been? Monka W, this man. I don't know if you're too in tune with like supernatural stuff, or if you even believe in it, or you believe in any spirits or ghosts. Have you ever tried shining a light on things to see what happens? That's literally what we did with the high beams. We were like, what the fuck? But like, generally, like, the things aren't afraid of light. It just doesn't step into light normally. Like, I've seen it during the day, which means that there's light, right? but it's just very unnormal for it. And like I would see it across the street when I was growing up on top of the roofs of the other houses, and so it was like backlit by like the skyline of like the park or whatever that was behind them. Like there's lights around that area. All sorts of shit like that, right? Or like the sun would be like, not sun, sorry, the moon would be like reflecting light onto it so I could see it. Like I know exactly what it looks like. Because yay for having a semi-permanent memory. If you believe something is important, you remember it the rest of your fucking life. So I have no idea what you just posted, but no links are allowed in chat. Please read the chat rules before you start posting things. That's a monk ass right there, boy. Won't be posting no links. Spooky word that I don't understand. What is that? What is that thing? Reptiles are actually mammals. It looks sort of like an armadillo. Interesting. I have a ghost spooky story, which is pretty weird. I'm down to hear it, man. Like, I will narrate it if you throw it up on screen, so if you type it all out and everything, I will read it off. Obviously, we're going to continue conversation, not just sit here patiently waiting, but we will talk about it. If you guys got stories, throw that in chat. Hell, I'll even draw shit if, like, you're like, it looked like this, and I'll start drawing it out for you, right? And then we can see, you know, if, is this what it was? And you'd be like, oh, shit, type thing. Why is my nose so fucking itchy every time I fucking stream, dude? My goodness gracious. I wish I had some more energy drinks. I've been trying these ones, these Rain. They're okay. This one kind of tastes like a push pop that you had as a kid. Not a huge fan of it, but it was $2. Can't complain too much. I was at the grocery store and I was like, let's grab one. But yeah, Aki, do you got some stories you want to drop in chat too, homie? Because I know you've been through a lot of weird shit. 2 stories. One funny scary, the other is a result of allergy to ibuprofen that causes night terrors. I'm down to hear both. So Dunk says, none that I can think of really. When I was younger, my friend Hunter and I used to get followed by this man a lot whenever we hung out that would disappear and reappear. And it'd be the same man. Kind of weird. We'd see him in the forest and shit at night. And whenever we traveled to other towns or other parts of the city. Really? Alright, now without giving away the city, because I don't want either of us to get doxxed. For those who don't know, Dunkers is actually my little brother. Was that, he's my younger adopted brother, so we didn't have the same upbringing. Because we adopted him later on in life. Doesn't matter. Do you think that it was, yeah, of course, that's why I didn't say the city. Yeah. So, was that still in the city that we live in, or was that like a different city? Because I don't know, you know, again, your upbringing entirely. Because that's kind of spooky, bro. That, yeah, here. See, there's so much fucking supernatural stuff here. Without getting into too much detail, our city, town, whatever you want to call it, used to be known that if you go there, you get murdered, pretty much. A very long time ago, like over 100 years ago. But, like, there's ghost stories in all parts of the area. Small towns nearby, our town, like the whole region pretty much. It's like you went to that area, you pretty much got killed, right? So not so much anymore, right? But it's, I definitely believe there's like spirits and stuff like that, and like if it would just appear and disappear, like what do you mean by that? Would like you would see him just disappear, like as if he was just deleted, or like go into mist, or just like you look away and then look back and he's gone type thing? Why the fuck's my, you know what? No, it's quit being itchy. Oh my goodness. My nose is always fucking itchy when I stream. It's never itchy throughout the entire day. I start streaming, insane. Place where you get murdered? Oh, fun. Yeah, dude. I mean, Canada isn't really the nicest place. Especially not back in like the early 1900s and before. Like, holy shit. I don't know. I don't want to dox myself though, because I'll say what, like, if someone discovers where I live, whatever, don't go telling people, but if you find out, I don't really give a shit. Partially because I know literally almost everyone in town, so, you know, like, it's whatever. I wouldn't be too afraid of much, but I just, not, I don't want to, like, give out where I live, but, like, there's lots of murders used to happen here, and still do, obviously. I was telling you about, like, the murders and the rapes that were happening in that forest that was near where we were hanging out. Literally the forest that we looked into. Literally only a couple years ago. That was when the person got caught. And apparently he admitted to doing it since 2008, so... And it explains all the missing girls in the area, so... Like, there's not a whole lot, but, like, there was... I think since about 2008, in that area, there was about 3-4 missing girls. So, and they've only found the body of 2. So, maybe there's another 2 girls out there in that same forest that you just gotta find. And in that same forest, we found, like, this weird fucking giant cage. Like, it was off trail. But, like, it was too big to be a dog cage. Like a dog kennel or whatever. I think Augie was here for this one too. But like the one corner, it looked like it was like pulled out and like chewed at and stuff. And it was like, that's fucked. Like it was too big to be a dog cage. Okay, so let's read off Augie's funny scary. Alright. The funny scary one is just that while walking home from a friend's place, parked by my parents' old place, okay, there was hedges on both sides of a walkway / catwalk that end up dropping off right near the end, basically. While walking down there, I heard a rustle around me, but couldn't see anything. I said, oh well, probably nothing, and kept walking. Once the hedges dropped off and I could see lights again, I looked up on the fence and there was 4 raccoons just staring straight at, or just straight up staring at me. They ran. Hey, you stupid fucks! Enough. Stupid ass cats. Yeah, actually, I know exactly what you're talking about too. I believe that's the. Was it the one between our streets? I think that's the one you're talking about. Actually, I remember. I'm pretty sure I remember you telling me like that night, like, dude, this fucking. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you messaged me that like right when you got home, like, I just got fucking scared by a couple of raccoons, man. Like, because you're a teenager, right? It's more like we would look, see him, look away, look back, and he's gone. Then we would walk a bit across town and see him again behind us. Kind of like we're getting followed, but it's the same guy over the past 8 years or so. And it'll keep happening. Really? Like, when was the last time that happened, Dunk? Because that's kind of fucking scary. Like, that sounds kind of like a ghost. Scary shit. I'm getting my cross. What up? No, not the one between us. Sorry. The one between... Okay, gotcha. Yes. Behind the little wooded lot, right? Or going... Okay, only you will understand this, alright? Is this mirrored? No, this isn't mirrored. Okay. Well, it is mirrored, but... So go up this way, and then up, and then this one, towards the park, right? Only you'll understand that. Closer to the elementary school. Oh, between the U. There's the U street, and then going between there. Probably like about a couple weeks ago, last time Hunter and I hung out. It's only when we're together. Oh. Question. Is Hunter native? Yeah, okay. I know which one you're talking about, Aki. And I know yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's hedges on the, yeah. And then there's the up high fence thing, yeah. No, he's not. Okay. Always a good question to ask, because like natives attract shit apparently, because that's just what we do. Yeah, it does sound kind of like a ghost though, Dunk. Which is kind of weird. I mean, good thing it's a ghost and not, you know, someone after your booty hole. But, you know, just maybe make sure you got each other's back in case, you know, that ghost wants your booty hole. You never know, you know. Could be. Hey man, ghosts after some booty holes sometimes too. That's just how it's gotta be. They haven't got laid in like ghost years, bro. I don't even know how long ghost year is. Gonna head out, maybe stop by the store. I'll see you later. Have a good spooky stream. Alright, take it easy, Angel. But yeah, there's lots of like scary shit that happens in our town. Like, it's too much stuff that's like unexplained. Like, not super on board with a lot of it, I'm gonna be honest. My grandparents' house is World War I era type house. I was playing video games and I felt like I was being watched, so I turned my head towards the door. There's a 6-foot black figure standing in the corner of the door, like peering around the corner. And I ran to see what the heck that was, and as I got to the door, the back bedroom door slammed shut. And when I went to open the door and turn the lights on, nobody was in the room. That's spooky as fuck. So do you think it was like a shadow person or a ghost or like, actually shadow people can't really interact with anything. Oh, this actually might be a good opportunity. Let me know if you see any shadow up here towards the end of stream that seems irregular. Because there's a shadow person that normally I can see like peeking around when I have this thing up, when my setup was turned this way. So pretty much because I'm facing this direction because of where the light is, the light's right here and the camera's right here. So I don't think it'll come this way because, well, I'm looking this direction. Right? The thing for some reason knows not to look when I'm looking. But let me know if you see anything like sketchy as fuck behind me up there. Even though there's no way nothing could fit there. I don't think a shadow person follows by those physics. So, because there's one that just looks around the corner at between 2 and 4 a.m. every night. It's terrifying, right? It would normally be like down the hall, but that's blocked off right now. So, I'm almost tempted to like pull this back to where it was. That way you guys can see down the hall just in case, and someone can clip it if they see something. But I don't want it just showing the doorway in case my roommate comes home or whatever, and he's on stream if he doesn't want to be. I don't know, I haven't told him that I'm streaming tonight, but he probably assumes I'm streaming. Actually, I'm gonna text him to see if he's gonna be coming home tonight. I don't know what he's up to, but maybe him and I will go on another cryptid hunt. But no, like, Alpha, that is kind of fucking scary, dude. Like, I know there was a time that I was in Hamilton, and again, that same spooky spirit thing, that the thing that I think might be a goat man, it was the first time that I ever drew the thing. I was 14 and the chick I was dating was 17, I think. So us being teenagers, we're doing the not kind of appropriate things. All right, we're in her room. I'm just gonna mess my roommate real quick. Coming home tonight? Question mark. There we go. So actually, I'm gonna read off your thing real quick. Then that night, my door started slamming shut repeatedly for a good 30 minutes, and when I woke up, I yelled, "Will you fucking not open the latch of my door?" And nothing was there. Huh. That guy was just fucking with you, bro. That's fucked. That's a mean ghost right there. I'm glad that your immediate reaction to a ghost, though, is pure anger. We need more people like you. You're a commando. That's what that is. Like, /K/commando, or Omando. You know what I mean. Orlando, not Orlando. The Night Terror one was one night while I was sleeping. I had an out-of-body experience type thing, and while kind of roaming my room, I saw a being standing beside me, looming over me but staring directly at my face. I scared myself awake, but as my eyes slowly opened, I was sleeping on my side. I saw this elongated bone face with fangs and black fur staring directly back at me with piercing eyes. I jumped and screamed and my parents came in, but the thing was gone by then. Jesus. That's fucking spooky, bro. Like, that's no bueno. Like, I remember it was about a week and a half ago now. I was laying in bed and I'm mildly schizophrenic. Like, I hallucinate auditorily and visually. Normally I can tell the difference between them, if it's real or not. Sometimes you can't. So I'm sitting there and I'm laying in bed. I'm just about to fall asleep. My eyes are closed. And like my arm is like down like next to me here, right? So instead of like up here, because normally my hands are both like under my pillow and I'm like, oh, but like my one hand was under my pillow and I'm laying this way, my arm is down like this, and my eyes are closed, and then I see this face. It was like, y'all know Jeff the Killer, how it has like those really beady eyes and like the big black outline around them type thing. Imagine eyes like that, but it was all dark and like it was just like grayscale, like there was just black and white. And the face was like elongated. It wasn't like Jeff the Killer's face, but the eyes were the same kind of idea. It was just like this creepy, like old man looking face. And like the skin was just wrong, like half the face. Like it was the right side of the face, but I'm laying on my right. So it's like my left side, his right side type thing. Half the face was like missing, like ripped off type. And you can see like kind of like gore and bone, but you could also see like gears and springs inside of it. And I was like, well, my eyes are closed. I know my eyes are closed. I'm still conscious enough to understand this. So I slowly open up my eyes. And as I did that, it was like blinds opening. And I saw it in color. It was like this like bronze brownish kind of color. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, this is one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen, right? Because it's so realistic. So as I'm just kind of deadpan staring at it, because like I know that my eyes were closed when I saw it, right? So when I'm conscious enough to know that my eyes are now open and it's still here. So I move my hand and just kind of plop it up through it, And I was like, well, my hand's through it right now, so like, okay, you're not real, right? And that was literally my reaction, but it woke me the fuck up immediately. Like, I was wide awake because of this. I was like, nope, you're not real. Girlfriend's safe, right? If it's a spirit or something like that, it will like react, but no, it didn't. So I was like, okay, I'm having a visual hallucination. So I sat up, and I had shawarma that night, but I brought it into the bedroom in case I wanted a midnight snack. And so I just turned, and I grabbed the shawarma, and I just ate all the shawarma, grabbed my water bottle, down the entire water bottle, and then went up to the living room, told my roommate about it, and he was like, your immediate reaction to potentially a demon staring you in the face is slap it and eat shawarma. And I was like, pretty much, yeah. And he was just like, okay. Oh, man. My family is Twax and Tough Rednecks. I don't know what that is. Why the fuck is my nose always so itchy when I stream? This is like the weirdest fucking thing. It was one of the most terrifying things I've ever experienced. Understandably, like, holy shit. But, man. Like, that, again, that was like the closest thing I've had to that. But, like, I know I hallucinate, right? And I was running off, like, next to no sleep the past few days before that. So I was like, it's probably a hallucination. They happen more when I sleep less. And I don't like sleeping. So, kind of goes hand in hand. I've almost always got them. But I was sitting on the couch next to him. And then I heard people talking directly next to me. I look over. There's nothing there. I'm like, yep, I'm still hallucinating. This is great. So I just sat there and chilled while he played Forza. It was funny. Like, it was either Forza or Need for Speed. He likes racing games and Destiny and shit like that, so. But no, I was just chill with him for like another like hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I was like, alright, I'm going back to sleep. I'm out of shawarma. So, fuck, what was I about to say with like the other account? Oh, my one ex-girlfriend. Mom's side is a spirit hallucinations and do drugs, and my dad's side are tough rednecks. Oh, got you. Yeah, see, I don't do any drugs or anything like that. I've never even smoked weed, so, and I don't do shrooms, obviously, because, well, I've never even smoked weed. I'm super lame. Like, so I don't got any of that cool shit going on, so it's none of that. But, so, yeah, my ex, she lived in Hamilton, Ontario. So I took a Greyhound up there, and I was going to spend, like, the long weekend with her. And this is, like, the first time, you know, we're fucking around, because, well, she has her own place, and I'm 14, and I'm like, I'm horny as fuck because of puberty. Having fun, doing whatever. And then we're just kind of chilling because she's like into like the spiritual shit, but she doesn't have much of an understanding of it at the time. She was just really interested, right? So I was telling her about this thing, and she's like, oh, okay, because she already had like a bit of an understanding of it, but you know, I was comfortable sharing it with her. I'm comfortable sharing it with you guys. I'm comfortable sharing it with the world, whatever. And so I drew it for the first time, like the actual creature. And as we're sitting there, and I think to point out, her house was like 3 or 4 stories tall, and she was on the top floor, and the only room that was available for rent, because the other room next to it, mom and dad let you go. Yeah, man, mom and dad have let me see. Mom and dad didn't give a shit what I did growing up, dude. Like, I could do whatever the fuck I wanted growing up because they were like, whatever. It was with you guys that they actually cared. Like, I was the neglected kid. So, and plus they've met her like dozens of times. Like, they knew who she was, right? She spent the night at our place plenty of times, right? So it was whatever. You made me lose my train of thought. Oh yeah, so she's on the top floor. This house is haunted. It was one of those really, really old fucking buildings that has like a separate stairway that's for the maids. And it's not like that anymore. Obviously there's fucking teenagers renting it out. But there was an old dude that he had his study at the top of the stairs, and her bedroom is his old bedroom, right? But he was always in his study. He only ever went in that room to sleep and nothing else, right? There was literally apparently just a bed in there. And so, hey, how's it going, TP? We're talking about scary shit. So that room had a single wooden chair in it, like an old fucking wooden chair. And that room was not available for rent because it was haunted. If you looked in that room and you looked away for like a minute or two and you look back, that chair's in a different spot, facing a different direction, right? The chair was always fucking moving. It was kind of creepy, right? So, but I walked myself into this area, right, into this building, and I had like a weird vibe about it, but I was like, whatever. So her and I are fooling around in her room and whatnot, and it's got one of those windows right next to her bed, because it's like the slanted roofs kind of thing, but they're like elevated, and then like where the window was, it's like a little indent for where the bed could fit. So she's like, this is perfect, puts her bed next to the window. There's no trees near this window. There's nothing near this window, all right? It is like 3-4 stories up. I don't remember exactly, but I just remember we had to go down a lot of fucking stairs to go down. And there was a floor beneath us, and that was where all of her roommates were, right? And thinking about it, she didn't really have the safest living situation if those weren't good people, because she was the only girl that lived in that building, and it was a bunch of big jock guys, like really big jocks. Like they dwarfed me, and I think at the time like 5'6", and like they were like well over a foot taller than me. So like they were big fuckers. Like they were all like football athlete type guys, and that could have been really bad. But luckily they were all super cool guys, which is important. So we're in a room talking about this thing. I end up drawing it, and then I got this really weird feeling. She was like, what the fuck's going on? Like she had this weird feeling for the first time ever, right? Like she's had that kind of like connection to things, and that's why she's interested in it, but she's never felt like that before. I'm gonna send you a picture. All right, homie. And then the window shattered inwards towards us. Nothing went through the window. It's not like a tree branch hit it. It just broke inwards, and we heard that scream that I heard that night. It was terrifying, right? Her and I both like lost our shit, because now the bed's covered in glass, right? And this, I think, was the second night, so the day after I would be leaving. And we were like, what the fuck, right? So we're getting out of the room, right? And we go towards the stairs, and there's obviously the hidden extra doorway that you're supposed to go down for the maids. Well, apparently that old guy pushed one of the maids down the stairs and killed her because she took his stairs. She didn't take the maid stairs. She took his stairs, right? That's meant for the actual people who live there. And he pushed her down, and she fell, and she like died, right? It's a very large set of stairs, and I mean like a really large set of stairs. Like you think like 12 steps is a lot, right? Like it was like probably like 15, and then there's a little platform, and then you go down more, right? Like the more was like 6, but still it was like Jesus Christ type thing. Too many stairs. And so I get to the top of the stairs, like fuck this, let's go down. And I'm walking out the door first, and then I felt a hand on my back shove me, and she screamed because apparently she saw a hand imprint right on my shirt, right? And I went flying down the fucking stairs. Now, luckily, I was 14 and super into parkour, right? And I've fallen off of buildings before, so I was like, fuck! And like as I fell, I was like, well, I don't have much of a landing down here, but kind of hit the ground, kind of rolled type thing. And I looked up at the stairs, and there was just like the chair sitting right at the front, like right at the door, facing outwards from the door, right? But it looked like someone stood up from it quickly, and it was like ever so slightly moved. And we were like I get back upstairs. I'm like, you want to fucking go? And I walk over and I boot the fucking chair back into the room. I was like, fuck you, right? Because I'm getting goosebumps looking about this, man. Like, oh shit. I don't know if that's really coming up, but I got goosebumps. All right, like all of this is standing up. Ooh, just remembering that terrifies me because nothing's ever touched me, right? Like I've always thought I had like a barrier around me type thing, because that thing never got close to me, so I just assumed that nothing could, right? But I'm in its space, so maybe that's why. Maybe I do have a barrier, maybe I don't. Who fucking knows, right? And so I went up and I was like, fuck you, ghost type thing, right? I'm already dealing with something else right now. So I grab her by the hand, we both grab a railing that's on either side and walk down the stairs, go around the little bend and go down. And her roommate, he comes out, like one of her roommates, really big fucker. Like this guy he's probably a linebacker or some shit. He was a big guy, right? He steps out and he was like, what the hell's going on? And what was that noise outside? And why did you fall down the stairs type thing? We explained everything that happened. And he was like, yeah, you're sleeping with me tonight, guys. And we're like, what? He was like, I have a futon in my room. Y'all are sleeping with me tonight, right? Because obviously her bed's now covered in glass, right? It's going to be a draft in that room anyways. He was just super chill, like, dude, bro, right? Like Chad, bro, all right? Like, he was a good Chad. And he was, generally, that guy was just awesome. Thinking about it, unrelated entirely. Apparently, one of his buddy, like one of the other roommates' buddies, tried coming into the shower when she was in the shower already, right? Being like, hey, girl type thing. And then she screamed out his, like, the guy's name was Darcy, right? She screams out, like, Darcy. He came into the bathroom, grabbed this fucker, yeeted him across the fucking apartment, said, get your shit and get out before I fucking kill you. And that was, like, the day she knew that she was safe in that apartment. Because even the other roommate, that it was his friend, apparently was going to kick the shit out of that guy. Because that guy was just a fucking scumbag, apparently. So that's how she knew she had good roommates. Because they were going to beat up their own friends that tried to do stupid shit to her. Or try and do anything to her. So, But he was a good dude, bro. We felt kind of safe in his room, but we were still kind of fucking creeped out because there's a giant fucking window in his room that's facing the same direction of our window that broke. So we're like, but it was a scary fucking night, man. All right, so Aki, what's this thing that you sent? Let's check. Oh my goodness gracious, Jesus Christ. It's oh man, I don't know if I can bring this up on stream without saving it to my computer. The thing I saw, yeah. Yeah, let me... I don't know if this will come up on my other screen if you can see it or not. No, you definitely can't. Alright, save image as, desktop, sure, that. Right click, show in folder. And let me just drop this onto screen so you guys can see it. Nope, that's way too big. Right click, let's go for transform.
The done 10 RAR OWL2019DVA.
Why is it sideways? Hold up. Let me transform, rotate 90 degrees clockwise, right click, transform, fit to screen. Okay, it's doing it sideways, whatever. You'll get the same effect. And this, actually, you know what, I'm gonna turn it sideways, I'm just gonna move it, whatever. So apparently this is what Aki saw in that story that he just told us about. But Dunkers, thank you for the tier 1 sub, homie. I appreciate it. Your trash mouse is starting to hatch there. So that is actually really freaking scary looking, homie. Like that almost looks like a bird thing. Cool drawing, but I would dookie in my pants. Understandably so. Alright, and it was like looming over top of you like that. Holy shit. Fuck that. That is getting off of my screen and being deleted from my computer. Like, what the fuck? That was spooky. Remember it vividly, and I hate that I do. Yeah, I mean, understandably though, like, that type of shit just traumatizes you and it stays. Oh man. I mean, I couldn't imagine waking up to that type of thing. That's terrifying. See, paralysis is a big dookie scary. It is, definitely, yeah. So there's oh boy, like there's too many things in this world that we can't explain, right? Like I'm not on board with a lot of it. Oh man. There's I kind of hate being alone and doing this type of stream too, because like I know that on the other side of this is just pure darkness in that room, save for what this light is giving off and that purple. Okay, like it's I'm gonna be creeped out. Should turn on that daylight bulb over there, but then my lighting would be fucked. So it's gonna be another pick up Aki and go for food kind of day. My roommate's not home. I texted him asking if he's coming home tonight, but he hasn't replied yet. So plus I can't really afford that at the moment, so probably shouldn't. Otherwise I'd so be down. Like I like the late night adventures. That's super fucking fun. Like I want to make that like a weekly thing, but that's expensive on gas for my roommate and I wouldn't want to do that to him. So plus like you live on the other side of town, so if we were to do like a weekly thing, then it would be like, well shit, you know, like it's a lot of busing and then one of us would have crash at the other person's house and then hope that we don't end up dying in the middle of the night because, well, we live in Canada and the closest thing to a weapon that we get is a tiny knife, you know. Well, I mean, my knife isn't tiny, but no, a knife, that's not gonna help you much. If you see them goat men again, you should try and record it and see what happens. See, that's the thing, we didn't even think about that. That was literally our whole goal, was to go out and take a picture of them and shit, and we didn't even think about it the whole time that we were out. It's almost like they got into our brains or we're just stupid or one thing or another, you know. I have a traumatic slash funny slash scary story, but it's in a video form. Well, are you able to explain it in word form? Because I mean that makes it the easier way. Or if you want to like, if you want to hop up into my Discord, I think you're in it. I can hop into the streaming channel. You can hop in, talk, if you want to. I feel like this music is a little bit too loud for me at the moment, so I'm gonna turn that down for me. So, yeah, I'm gonna hop up into the streaming chat channel in my Discord. So, Dunkers, Aki, if you guys want to join, you're more than welcome to. That way we can just shoot the shit, talk about something. A story I told, I wanted to seek professional help, and they recommended I get baptized or get blessed. That's not professional help, though that would probably help somehow, you know? Like, I don't believe in, like, a god or whatever, but if, say, these creatures are tied to some type of mythos that... Without being that guy, one day it will be called Christian mythology, alright? Because a new religion will form, right? Or Catholic mythology, or Muslim mythology. Eventually that's what it's going to be. Whether it be 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, several thousand years from now. You know, like, there's ancient religions and shit that they thought that was the truth back then. And now we call it, you know, like, Greek mythology, Norse mythology type shit, Egyptian mythology, you know, like, we've got all this shit. So, not too tired, I'm about to head out. It's too long to type, thanks for the offer. Of course, homie. I'm probably gonna be doing, like, scary streams, like, once a week nowadays. This week I'm just super into it right now, so I kind of want to do more of them. But I kind of want to have, like, a weekly schedule where it's like, this night is this particular game. This night is we're doing scary stories. This night it's just whatever the fuck we feel like type thing, right? Like, I want to have, like, a steady schedule of things that we're doing. So, I'm going to be hopping off, actually. Everybody leaving me. Oh, my God. Alright, well, then I will just chill here, and if someone joins me, they join me. If they don't, then fuck it. Whatever. It didn't hurt nothing. But, so the way I see it with, like, the mythos thing, like, if there's some form of, like, tying of these creatures to that type of mythology, right? And again, it is a current religion, but at some point in the future it will be a mythology, right? That'll probably, they're connected in some way or another, you know? I don't know, maybe silver bullets and crosses fuck up vampires and werewolves, whatever. Like, I don't know if those are actually real or not, probably not, but I mean, there's too many things out there that we can't explain. Like, I don't think werewolves is, oh, you get bitten by the fucker and then it makes you have the power if it didn't eat you fully, and then you're like, oh, you have to become a wolf at midnight. Like, no, like, but like, there's a lot of, like, say, Club Pike STE. That is not at all what I said, but okay. There's things like witch doctors and shit that people will turn into a wolf, right? To be able to view other people. They'll turn into a bird, or they'll watch you, or they'll, you know, stalk you in somewhere away. Then there's also things that they drink your blood, like chupacabra. So, and chupacabra isn't just like this little demon thing with wings and little spikes on it and it's blue. Like, no, like, there's chupacabra could be, and according to, like, I don't know everything about it, obviously. I am a white native guy, you know, like a mixture of the two. And I'm pretty, as far north as north will get, that, you know, I'm not fully native, right? And that means I'm pretty far away from Mexico and everything else that involves chupacabra, alright? But, a lot of that, it's, you know, like, it comes as a dog, or as a human, or as a weird mixture of creatures, or like a bat, a giant bat, you know, like, there's so many different ways that chupacabra could be, right? So what if that's where vampires are, right? Maybe it's that thing, right? So I'm not going to say that, you know, vampires exist and werewolves exist, but, like, there's plenty of religions and, you know, stories and cultures all around the world that talk about things that could be identified as that, you know? So I don't know about much about it, particularly I haven't done extensive studying on all of that. But I'm not saying that we should rule it out because, well, maybe it's just something else and it's not just mixed up with someone else's story, right? Like, there's, you know, like, gnomes and stuff type things, but what if they're actually like the Norse things, whatever they are, or Swedish things or whatever. I don't know, it starts with a T, I believe. I can bring it up on YouTube and do a quick checky doodle. Because I know I've looked it up. Tabernacle or some shit. Let me go to my subscriptions real quick, and I can find the video that the thing I'm talking about is from. Whether or not, like, the video, well, actually desktop audio won't be picked up. Cool. So I'll just go to the videos and I will find it really quick and I can explain it to you guys. Where the fuck this bitch at? I'm gonna kick it in the balls. There it be. Massive Swede dude, okay. Get farther in. Alright, let me see if I can find it in the comment section without trying to watch through the whole fucking video, because it's like a half-hour long video. Tom Tensonar. That's what it is. Let me just toss this word in there. So maybe like gnomes are these things, alright? If you Google that, you'll figure it out. Or at least you should be able to, I think. Yeah, yeah. It's like a Nordic thing. So, Tomtinis. Maybe I spelled it wrong, but whatever. They're pretty much like little gnome people who live in the forest, and you don't fuck with the forest people because they'll fuck you up type thing. They're tiny little dudes, alright? Like, it's around 5% of... Oh, is my music playing? I want to make sure my music's playing. Okay, it is. 5% of the ocean has been accurately mapped. Imagine what's actually deeper down. Since we already know what the anglerfish looks like. Yeah. Like, there's too much things on this planet that we don't know, alright? Like, so much supernatural things could be real scientific stuff that we just don't understand yet, or we're like, that doesn't fit into our understanding, right? So we need to advance what we know or how to, you know, look at things. But maybe things can transform. Maybe there's a form of science that explains it, you know? We don't really understand things, right? It's possible, right? And sometimes maybe science just will never be able to explain it. Maybe magic is real, you know? Like, they can't really necessarily rule that out because, well, until you disprove it, you know, it's technically possible, right? And just the easiest way of looking at it is most magic is science we don't understand yet. So, I don't know. Because, like, a lot of the shit that we look at is basic chemistry is alchemy, right? Which was, like, advanced magic shit back in the day. But it's just, no, that's literally this plus this makes this type thing.
You know, the one who's so good at being
But, weird shit like that. Like, maybe there is magic and maybe we're fucked up, right? Maybe there's supernatural stuff that we just don't understand. Maybe it's like an extra plane of existence that we just don't normally see, and in certain situations, maybe like electromagnetic fields from, you know, our planet's rotation at a particular time of year causes this different type of rift where we're able to see this other dimension, because in theory, science proves that there's other dimensions. Like, we just also can't prove it at the same time. You know, it's like the whole Schrodinger's cat thing. It's both alive and dead until you open up the box, you know? So maybe there's multiple timelines where these things are real, and then there's ones where they aren't, and then they're just on a different existence than we are, a parallel one, and we can mix in, and you know, like, life's weird. There's all sorts of shit that we do not understand. So it's like, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. There's I'm just repeating myself, but there's things that we can't explain that maybe we will be able to one day explain, but currently can't. Because back in the day, there was things that we could explain with magic, but then science was like, no, it's this, right? So what if this magic stuff right now is something we prove with science in the future, right? You never know. But, like, we don't know most of the fucking species that are in the ocean, because it just gets too deep and we can't get down there. And then a large portion of, like, the Amazon rainforest is undiscovered, right? There's certain places, hell, not even in the Amazon, that are undiscovered because it's just too densely wooded, right? And I mean, like, you could argue that we could send out a bunch of drones with, like, little, like, heat things and map out shit, but it's like, is that really gonna work? Because once there's too much of a canopy in the way, you can't really see through shit, so I don't know. Thermals don't always work, especially when it's, like, humid out or sunny out or whatever, right? There's too much in this world that's undiscovered for us to rule out things and just say science would say it's wrong when our science isn't perfect yet. Our science can't map the entirety of the ocean. Why can it map the entirety of the surface? Especially when we've already proven that it can't see through certain canopies. If we know the Amazon rainforest is so unmapped and there's undiscovered species, there's undiscovered people there, like tribes that haven't been met yet, that haven't seen technology before. What makes you think that we know everything, right? Like, you can't, right? That's just how the world is nowadays. But, oh well. That's my little bit of a rant, okay? Oh. So anyone else got some stories they want to share? Some creepy things? Or should we head on out for the night before I get too spooked? Too spooky 5 me. Because we might be able to call it like an hour early if need be. Or maybe we'll play a video game or something. Who knows? Just swap to something not so scary. I don't know. We've got to sort out a schedule for all of the subathon stuff because it's September now. That was in July. So that means an entire month. But I mean, there was that little while that I was just no computer. My setup was fucked. My computer was fucked. And then I was fucked. And also it's like, oh god. But, meh. I don't know. What type of games do I even have installed? Actually, I have Steam disabled right now. So I can't even check. But, you know, we'll just chill. We'll just vibe. Fuck it. Whatever. Oh. I know it's more of a Lost Tapes type legend, but what do you think of skinwalkers? I definitely believe skinwalkers are real. 100%. Like, it could just be the fact that I'm native, but there's too many encounters with skinwalkers and like flesh gates and stuff like that. And obviously Goatman is a type of skinwalker, but not really skinwalker. He's just able to take people's shape. I think that there's too many different cultures that talk about them for it to not be real, especially considering it's like a lot of native peoples that would not have any connection to each other. Native Australians, native North Americans, native like Central Americans, even like native like South Americans, African. There's so many different cultures of like the native peoples that are like, yeah, there's people that will take your skin and wear it. And if these creatures are across the entire world from people that until recently compared to everyone else have been to themselves, how is that even possible, right? Like, I 100% believe that skinwalkers are real, and that's why like I'm glad I have a good sense of smell. All right, like if I ever smell blood or copper or anything like that out in the woods, we turning the fuck around and getting out of there. No siree. So it's like, nope. But I definitely believe those are real. Skinwalkers, flesh gates, goatmen. I don't think all of the stories that you read online are real. Some of them are just made for the sake of being entertaining. Because, I mean, there's stuff in Harry Potter, you know, like the Dementors. If you explain that as a cultural thing, you just write it off and you just make it, I saw this, right? Someone will believe you, right? But obviously we know it's a work of fiction, right? So I'm not saying every single tale that you hear online or read in a book or hear from somebody is real. But I would say keep an open mind to anything, right? Just on the off chance that the person telling you it is telling the truth, right? I'm not saying I believe Dementors are real. Obviously, J.K. Rowling kind of wrote those and made them herself. And there's all sorts of things that people have written in books, you know. But on the off chance, you know, like, it has real world influence, right? Dementors are just ghosts that feed off of emotions and shit or whatever. They steal part of your soul when they take it. Alright. Whatever. That's a thing, I guess. So you could just believe, hey, maybe there's ghosts in real life that feed off your negative energies. Well, that's actually a real thing that's known, so I'm not saying Dementors are real and they take part of your soul and they come and suck your face. But the concept, there's a real life comparison that they were clearly inspired by. So I definitely believe that there's all sorts of shit like that that you can look into, you know? Any other questions that you might have, or do you have any stories about skinwalkers and that's why you brought it up? Like, I'm kind of interested to hear what you have to say now, Alpha. Now I'm like, oh man, is there about to be a skinwalker story for me to hear? Because like I watch a lot of those like Ask Reddit and like /NoSleep and /X, or r/NoSleep, sorry, and then /X/K that are part X stories, you know, because K is just commando, but like there's supernatural commando. I don't know, I watch a lot of those videos on YouTube right now because that's been my bread and butter at the moment. So sitting here keep checking to see if my roommate's coming home tonight or not. Also, what do you guys think about having the monitor over there with like the chat going up? Cool, yes, no, feeling it, not feeling it? I'm kind of getting it. an idea for things. Also, who else is chilling at the moment? Let's see. Users in chat. Oh, there's a couple people that haven't been talking this whole time, but that's fine. I'm trying to think about any other like scary stories that have happened to me. I know there's some that my dad has told me about that he's dealt with. So my dad used to be a construction worker, like he owned his own company and everything. And so after that, he started doing like roofing and making buildings and like as well, like after he was done, because he fucked up his shoulder by saving a lot of his employees, but that doesn't really matter. Different story for a different day. But he's on this roof the one time, and his buddy that was on the roof with him, there was an old man that they kept seeing up in like this top window, but the attic, like the area where you would be able to get into, was sealed. Like you couldn't get into the attic. And again, this is me hearing it secondhand from my dad, but he was there, he saw everything. And he was like, every time you looked up in that window, there was an old man staring at you, right? But he was slightly see-through, and it freaked him out a little bit. But my dad's like, well, I got a job to do, I don't give a fuck, I'm native, you know, fuck you, right? Like, typical asshole. All right, like he was like, I got shit to do, I've got more important things to worry about than an old guy, right? So they're doing this roof, and you know, shit starts falling off the roof constantly. Like, what the fuck, right? And it's an old building, right? And if you looked inside that window, you didn't see anything except for apparently like an old desk and a chair, and a couple like paintings that were in the corner and some boxes, right? They're like, it was just sealed, there was nothing up there, right? But every time you looked up in that window from the ground, there was an old man staring at you. And while they were working on this roof, apparently every once in a while someone would hear leave, right? Just right in their ear. And they're like, what the fuck, right? They're like, well, no, they still have to finish off the roof, you know? And at one point, one buddy was next to the chimney, and it was a brick chimney, right? And apparently the chimney went sideways towards him and then fell. Well, if the roof is like this, all right, and we're gonna turn it this way, so now you have like a flat kind of, actually this angle will probably work. Okay, so like pretend this is still angled like this. If it's sticking up like this, all right, like, all right, just put it on this side. It went towards him this way and hit him. It didn't fall with gravity. It went sideways and fell towards this guy. Oh, which he kind of, you know, ended up tripping and falling because there's a fucking chimney coming at him, and he falls off the roof. Luckily, he's got his cord, and he gets caught, and then they pull him back up. They're like, what the fuck? He's like, I heard someone say leave in my ear, and then that happened. I'm fucking, no, I'm done, right? And they were just freaked the fuck out. My dad's sitting there like, well, I believe you. I saw it fucking go sideways. Unfortunately, now we have to fix that fucking, you know, like, chimney. Luckily, you know, he used to own a construction company, he knows how to do bricklaying and everything, because he used to be a bricklayer at first before he owned the construction company. They re-bricked the fucking chimney. They finish off the roof. And as they were leaving, they just saw the old man staring at them, super fucking angry. And they were like, okay, like, fuck this. But that was their life for like about a week as they were doing that roof, and, you know, with the weather and then having to fix that fucking chimney. Yeah. When I was still single digit age, we would take slingshots and have fun fucking in the woods at hunting camp, and we would see animals around us, but when we turn our backs and turn around, there's nothing to be found. There were brown branches, no, there were broken branches, leaves, and mushrooms all over the ground during that time. Weird. That is very strange. I don't know if that's quite skinwalker, but it could be. You know, you never know what's out there, man. Like, there's scary shit. There's lots of scary shit. I never in my entire life want to run into a flesh gate, because, yeah, that's how you spell it. That is how you spell it, actually. Because those, they have like an extended like jaw that's just a little bit too long, and like it's tilted, and that's gray, long face, and it's just wrong, and it's just, it looks kind of grayish flesh, kind of, it's a disgusting smell, and I'm like, no, not on board with that. I never want to run into that, because they normally come in at least 2 or 3, like, around, and it's like, I don't want someone taking me or my friends away and them becoming, you know, a skin for this thing. Like, hell no. And I never want to bring something like that back home, you know, so I'd have to leave that person there. And I don't want to be the person that gets in trouble for leaving someone out in the woods. Alright, like, fuck that. Oh boy. Do we want to keep streaming, or do we want to end it an hour early tonight? Because I gotta be honest, I don't have a whole lot of energy, and if there's not too many people talking in chat, it's a little bit harder to have the spooky, scary kind of story going on. I only have so many, right? Like, I wish I had more shit. Like, other than just, like, close encounters with, like, animals and shit. But that's not really, like, the same type of scary. You know, I'm thinking more, like, cryptid kind of thing. I'm thinking more, like, ghosts and shit. I'm not really thinking, like, oh, I ran into a pack of coyotes, and then I shot my gun, and they ran away. Because, I mean, that's probably scary. I'm not super afraid of coyotes, because, well, they're fucking coyotes. But here, coyotes are afraid of people. In some places, coyotes don't give a shit. Like Nevada, coyote will walk right up to you and be like, yeah, I'm taking your shit. And you're like, bang, bang, motherfucker. But I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of, like, real life type of scary. Like, I'm not talking about, like, oh, we almost got robbed this one night or type thing. I'm all out of spookies. That's fair. Well, you know what? Maybe we'll call it for tonight. We could, because I don't... What's tomorrow? Friday? I need to figure out a proper schedule. Like, I need to finish my schedule and then, like, set myself up on those timings. And that way I can actually, you know, have a proper schedule and get shit done. Because right now, I've got it started, but it's not perfect. And I want to do my streams 11 to 2 a.m. every night. And then I want to, like, record stuff afterwards, hang out afterwards, and then go to bed at, like, 6 a.m., wake up at noon. Because I think 6 hours is more than enough sleep for me. I prefer less than that, but that'll be a nice spot. Then I'm up to noon, I can do shit throughout the day, and then I can stream, and then I finish off my work after that, and then go to bed for the night. So, I think that'll work. I just need to figure out what I'm doing for certain things. Just making life work, you know? But I want to have, like, certain days, like, this is a spooky stream, where we talk about stories, or anything like that. I know Frosted Fricks has a lot of stories like that, so I might get him on. I want to get, like, a lot of my friends that do, like, have had supernatural encounters and shit, and have them a part of this, because, like, not everyone wants to talk about this kind of thing, or has an outlet to. So I feel like I know him for sure has some stories, because I believe Fricks has native ties as well. So let's do a quick check though to see who is online. Twitch.tv/directory following. Let's drop a raid on someone. Oh, live section. Oh, my boy Ted is on right now. Why is Ted on so late? Well, that's fine. Alright, so let's drop a raid on him. Show him some love. He's a cool mans. Alright. /raid. Dev Dark Ass. Have a nice night, dude. Yeah, you too as well, my buddy. If y'all want to just tell Ted that you know, he's a fantastic human being, beautiful man. All right, he's kind of a weird oddball, but he's playing Fall Guys right now. But he's playing it really hard. He's using his foot and bongos, like the Donkey Kong bongos. It is insane. He's playing Fall Guys in, like, the hardest way possible. So think you guys will enjoy it. Yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your night. Love y'all, and I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. Bye-bye.